Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Westside Unitarian Universal Church's the first ever live YouTube service. As many of you know, this is the weekend for Westside's traditional retreat at Pickett State Park, at which our minister, the Reverend Carol Baudot, and many other members of the congregation are in attendance. My name is Linda Phippen, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. Along with my fellow members of the Worship Committee, Judy Burgett and Morgan Ringelspaugh, we will be leading today's service, in which we will be sharing some thoughts about diversity in the Unitarian Universalist tradition, its congregations, and Westside itself. After today's service, we welcome you to join our Zoom coffee hour. You will need to leave YouTube and use the Zoom link on the Westside website or in the Wednesday newsletter to gain access to the coffee hour. Before we begin, there are a few announcements. Our Share the Plate partner this quarter is Move in Love. This is an organization run by Felicia Outsey, who is using music and dance to reach out to young people of color in East Knoxville in an effort to reduce gun violence in their community. The MOVE in the name of the organization stands for Motivation to Overcome Violence Through Expression. If you would like to make a donation to this organization, you can do so on the Westside website using the Make a Donation button. A portion of all donations will be designated for our Share the Plate partner. We had a great turnout at the auction last Saturday, so thanks to everyone who helped with setup and cleanup, brought food and drink, donated items, and bought these items. There are still a few things left, though. These can be viewed online and will be available until November 30th. Please check last Wednesday's newsletter for the link to view the items and other details. The second Monday lunch will be tomorrow at Lakeside Tavern at 11:30. All are welcome, and if you would like to attend, please contact Judy Burgett or Diane Gray. Their contact information can be found on last Wednesday's newsletter. The Thursday evening conversations continue from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. The group has been discussing the book Cast by Isabel Wilkerson, as well as other topics. If you are interested in attending, please see the newsletter for more information. Lastly, services will continue to be live streamed to YouTube and followed by a Zoom coffee hour through at least November. The services will also be available on YouTube for later viewing. The reopening committee and the Board of Trustees are working diligently to assess the status of COVID in our community, with the intent to resume in-person services just as soon as it is sufficiently safe to do so. Now, as we prepare to start our service, I invite you to take a moment to pause, settle into a comfortable spot, take a few quiet breaths, and be present as I sound the singing bowl. Now, as Morgan lights the chalice, Judy will read these words from Eric Walker Wigstrom, entitled The Stars in the Pews.
The stars in the pews. Each of the stars in the heavens is unique and individual, yet together they form the night sky. Each of us here is unique and individual, and yet together we are a congregation. Each of our congregations is unique and individual, yet together we are an association. For stars in the sky, for people in the pews, for members of our association, in gratitude we light this chalice.
Thank you, Morgan and Judy. Today we are going to be talking about diversity within Unitarian Universalism, and we're going to do it in a couple of different ways. Those of you who are members are most likely familiar with the 6 sources from which Unitarian Universalism draws its traditions, though most of us are more familiar with the 7 principles, which describe the central tenets of the Unitarian Universalist faith. For the first part of the service, we will describe each of the 6 sources and share a reading that represents the voice of that source. After that, we will focus on diversity of individuals within Unitarian Universalism and its congregations. The first of the 6 sources is the direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. To represent this source, this is a reading from the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore, entitled The Stream of Life. The same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death in ebb and flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. From the second source is words and deeds of prophetic women and men, which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. For this source, I chose a reading from Dorothy Day, the 20th century crusader for the poor and downtrodden among us. It is called Commitment. People say, "What is the sense of our small effort?" They cannot see that we must lay one brick at a time, take one step at a time. A pebble cast into a pond causes ripples that spread in all directions. Each one of our thoughts, words, and deeds is like that. No one has the right to sit down and feel hopeless. There's too much work to do. The third source is wisdom from the world's religions, which inspires us in our ethical and spiritual life. For this source, I've chosen readings from several religions. The first one comes from a Buddhist tradition of discourses called the Metta Sutta, and it is called Boundless Goodwill. Let us cultivate goodwill. Let none deceive another nor despise any being in any state. Let none in anger or ill wish harm on another. Even as a mother watches over her child, so with boundless mind should one cherish all living things, radiating friendliness over the whole world, above, below, and all around, without limit. From Taoism and Confucianism comes this reading from Lao Tzu called If There Is to Be Peace. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there's to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. The fourth source is Jewish and Christian teachings, which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. This reading comes from Leviticus in the Old Testament, common to both Judaism and Christianity. It is called the Heart of the Torah. Heed not the unreal gods. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap to the very edges of your field, nor gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not strip your vineyard bare, nor gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the alien. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You shall not steal, cheat, or lie to one another. You must not take a false oath in my name. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You shall not defraud nor rob, and you shall not keep for yourself the wages of a laborer until the morning. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You must not curse a deaf person, nor put obstacles in the way of a blind person. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You shall not be guilty of any injustice, neither showing partiality to the poor, nor deferring to the powerful, but judging fairly. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You shall not play the part of a talebearer against your people. You shall not avenge yourself, nor bear a grudge, but you must love your neighbor as you love yourself. I am the Eternal. The fifth source is humanist teachings, which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science, and warn us against idolatries of mind and spirit. This reading comes from Sophia Lyon-Foss, who was a 20th century Unitarian religious educator whose work focused on enabling children to form their own ideas about religion and spirituality. This reading is entitled, "It Matters What We Believe." Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community, where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life. The sixth and last source is spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions, which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. The reading I've chosen is attributed to Chief Noah Sealth, more commonly known as Chief Seattle, of the Suquamish and Duwamish people of Washington State. It is entitled, "We Belong to the Earth." It's quite a famous one, so you may have heard it before. This we know. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. So, as you can see, Unitarian Universalism has built its faith on traditions that go back hundreds or even thousands of years and encompass widely differing cultures. And it has found strength and wisdom in these diverse paths that humans have taken in their search for understanding of the world and their place within it. Having based its belief system on diverse sources, Unitarian Universalism also seeks to promote, support, and expand inclusivity and diversity in its congregations and in the community at large. We are now going to hear some thoughts and readings regarding this diversity.
I am a Unitarian Universalist by John Corrado. I am a man and I am a woman. I am a boy and I am a girl. I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am young and I am old and I am middle-aged, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am black and white and I am yellow and red and brown, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am married and I am single and I am divorced. I am heterosexual and I am lesbian and I am gay, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am a college graduate and I am a high school dropout. I am a white-collar worker and a blue-collar worker. I am retired and unemployed, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am an atheist and I am a Christian and a humanist and a Jew and a mystic, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am healthy and I am ailing. I am an autistic child and I am a palsied octogenarian, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am a law-abiding citizen who has never received anything more than a parking ticket, and I am a murderer awaiting on death row, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. I vote Republican and Democrat and Socialist Party. I have voted for George McGovern and Barry Goldwater, and I have voted for John Anderson and Gus Hall, too. And I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am a Marine and I am a pacifist. I am a conscientious objector, and I support a strong defense policy. And I am a Unitarian Universalist. I smoke, and I am a non-smoker. I drink socially, and I am an alcoholic. I am a vegetarian, and I love a good steak. And I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am many other things, some by choice, some by chance, and I am part of a common human destiny. I am part of humanity's family, and I am a Unitarian Universalist. Thank you.
Good morning. As Judy just demonstrated for us with that reading, we all are a little bit different in a variety of ways. Yet, despite our differences in spiritual and philosophical beliefs, we come to the Unitarian Universalist community because we share common principles. These are known as our 7 principles, and I'm sure you're very familiar with them. We're going to take a moment to read through these and kind of refamiliarize ourselves with them. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. A free and responsible search for truth and meaning. The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within the congregations and in society at large. We affirm the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence for which we are a part. Now, some Unitarian Universalists believe that it is our duty given to us in these principles to participate and advocate for changes in our systems. I'd like to read a poem now from Joseph Malins, first published in 1895 and made famous through a John Denver reading in 1987. This is known as the Ambulance Down in the Valley. 'Twas a dangerous cliff, as they freely confessed, though to walk near its crest was so pleasant. But over its terrible edge there had slipped a duke and full many a peasant. The people said something would have to be done, but their projects did not at all tally. Some said, put a fence round the edge of the cliff. Some said, an ambulance down in the valley. The lament of the crowd was profound and was loud, as their hearts overflowed with their pity. But their cry for the ambulance carried the day as it spread through the neighboring city. A collection was made to accumulate aid, and the dwellers in highway and alley gave dollars or cents not to furnish a fence, but an ambulance down in the valley. For the cliff is all right if you're careful, they said, and if folks ever slip and are dropping, it isn't the slipping that hurts them so much as the shock down below when they're stopping. So for years we have heard, as these mishaps occurred, quick forth with the rescuers Sally, to pick up the victims who fell from the cliff with the ambulance down in the valley. Said one to his peers, "It's a marvel to me that you'd give so much greater attention to repairing results, to curing the cause. You had much better aim at prevention. For the mischief, of course, should be stopped at its source. Come neighbors and friends, let us rally. It is far better sense to rely on a fence than an ambulance down in the valley." He is wrong in his head, the majority said. He would end all our earnest endeavor. He's a man who would shirk his responsible work, but we will support it forever. Aren't we picking up all just as fast as they fall and giving them care liberally? A superfluous fence is of no consequence if the ambulance works in the valley. The story looks queer as we've written it here, but things oft occur that are stranger. More humane, we assert, than to succor the hurt is the plan of removing the danger. The best possible course is to safeguard the source, attend to things rationally. Yes, build up the fence and let us dispense with the ambulance down in the valley. The poem gives us two choices. We can build the fence, put in prevention and a guardrail, so to speak, around the cliff. We can do that, or we can provide a solution to a problem, provide the ambulance in the valley, damage control, as it were, to pick up the pieces. This year, we've talked a lot in our services and will continue to talk about widening the circle, listening to the voices of diversity, examining our own roles in the systems in our society that builds the proverbial cliff. By listening to the other members of society, examining all of our sources, and realigning to our principles, perhaps we can find a way to lessen the dangers of the cliff, to build that fence, rather than relying on the need for rescue care or that ambulance down in the valley. We're going to finish our service today with the sound of voices celebrating our traditions with this video.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage.
Now, as we prepare to end our service, thank you all for joining us this morning. Morgan is going to extinguish our chalice as we hear these words familiar to us all. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.